Hello everyone and welcome back to Lindsay Unfiltered. And today we're going to be digging into the police reports between Mica and John Paul Miller to try to dig a little bit deeper into their relationship. Now, there are rumors that Mica was abused by John Paul and then she suspiciously unalived herself. I'm going to dig into these documents to hopefully give us some more insight about what that marriage looked like. Now, if you like content like this that revolves around scandal, true crime, conspiracy with a twist of humor, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 2,000. Thank each and every one. Now, I'm going to be reading these. I got them from Reddit. These are official documents of the Myrtle Beach Police Department. So let's get into it. Here we are with the City of Myrtle Beach police report between Mica and John Paul Miller. There's a couple of documents here, and we're going to read the notes to get a better idea of what Mica and JP's relationship was like before her passing. Okay? Now, this is just a normal police report, but I find that we get the most insight from the notes here. It says here, John Paul Miller stated that his wife passed away and is trying to get the belongings out of the apartment, but the leasing manager will not let him due to her not liking him. Wants an officer to stand by while he gets some belongings out of the apartment for 3024. Mail moved along with no issues and provided staff with the event number. Okay, so this is after Mica's passing on the 30th of April. It looks like John wanted to go and get some things out of the apartment, but said that the leasing manager wouldn't let him. That doesn't make too much sense to me. I mean, a leasing manager is there for business. A leasing manager isn't necessarily there to like or not like someone. My question is, why and what did you need to get out of Mica's house? That's kind of strange, okay? That's a little strange to me that you're in her apartment rifling through her belongings days after she's passed. I don't know. Am I the only one that feels that way? But anywho, let's go to another police report. There's a lot, okay? On Monday, April 29th, 2024, detectives with Robeson County came to Myrtle Beach in reference to a death investigation that occurred in their jurisdiction, okay? So it happened on the 29th, okay? Follow me, people. John Paul Miller was trying to get the belongings out of the apartment on the 30th. That's very quick. He wasn't going there to get everything out of the apartment to move her out or whatever the case may be. He was there to get some belongings out of the apartment. That's a little bit suspicious to me. Sorry, okay? Why are you there a day after talking about the leasing manager does not like you when your wife has just passed? The leasing manager, in my opinion, should be running to assist you with your late wife's business. But why wasn't she? So we went over this here. Okay, so here we go. Here's another police report. And this is for Mica. Mica states she located a heavy-duty tracker on her vehicle. Wants to turn over as evidence. Believes her husband placed on her car. They were going to meet at her unit. She was notified by the officer that because the two are married and she has ownership of the vehicle, this is considered a civil issue. Tracker was reportedly found on a black in color Honda Civic plate 301 AKH SC. This is not the first time Mica has found a tracker on her vehicle. Officer advised her that the tracker is her property since the two are still legally married. The tracker remained with Mica. So Mica calls the police and says, hey, my husband is putting trackers on my car. And the police responds with, well, y'all are married. This is a civil issue. I really don't have anything to say about this being in any way criminal, in any way suspicious that your husband, your estranged husband, is tracking your every move. No. I find nothing wrong with that. Okay. She asked for help. I have a feeling that this woman wanted to be here, but things happened and she's not, right? Now, I can play devil's advocate and I can say that John Paul Miller was tracking her because he was so concerned about her, because he was so worried about her and he didn't know where she would be. He was concerned about her mental health. But I truly don't see that to be the case. I don't see estranged husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends putting trackers on the other's car. That's just not something that people do. Okay. And then for the police to let her down, I have family in the police department, so no disrespect when I say this, but the police always seem to be at the center of something that goes overlooked, right? I'm not saying it's their fault, but this looks like someone trying to ask for help. And for you to turn around and tell them, this is a civil issue. Sorry, ma'am, can't help you. Y'all are married. Shame on you. And here we are with another police report, and this is a breach of trust property. Meet with blank on scene about an employee stealing from the business, which is currently being investigated by blank. Blank was not on scene, spoke with the church employee, blank on scene. Blank informed me the church wanted police to be aware an ex-employee blank closed one of the bank accounts for a youth program that she was an executor before. I would think this is Mica Miller's police report. Okay. I can't be completely sure with the redactions. They say that there's some type of stealing going on at the church, and they spoke with an employee of the church, and the employee said that they wanted police to be aware that an ex-employee closed a bank account. So it seems to be like a breach of trust, a breach of security, and maybe even funds. And here we have another event report, and this one seems like it's from John Paul Miller. It's coming from the Solid Rock Ministries, which is the church. A month before her passing, again, John Paul Miller says he is being harassed on social media and by text by his wife, and her family would like to make a report about it. John Paul said he was being harassed by his wife on social media. The detectives looked at it and the wife's Facebook post where she talks about abuse. There were no names mentioned and no intent or harassment on the social media platform. John Paul had no text or proof of harassment and was advised by the officer to block any further social media from his wife, and he was also advised not to look at her page since it upset him. John Paul mentioned defamation of character, but was told that it is not a criminal matter and that there was no evidence from what they saw of Mica mentioning his name on any of the social media that was posted. John Paul stated that he was a pastor and he was worried about his reputation. The officer advised that he could give us a call back if he was being harassed, but there was no evidence of that in this claim today. This is a month before Mica's passing. John Paul calls the police, says, hey, my wife and her family are harassing me on Facebook. The post that she made about abuse, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there was no name attached to that post. There was nothing attached to that post. He felt attacked, right? But you can also say a hit dog is going to holler. So maybe it was about you, but why did you call the police? Because you felt like it was defamation of character. I don't ever remember John Paul Miller coming out of her mouth. I'll play it so you guys can see it.
I've had a lot of women that have reached out to me about situations of abuse. And I just want to tell you what a lot of people have told me. Male or female, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what gender you are. Abuse is abuse. And you are the bride of Christ. And my Bible says that he took all the abuse you could think of for you so that you didn't have to live that life of slavery and bondage and pain. So you don't have to stay in a abusive relationship, whether that's sexual, whether that's somebody forcing you to take illegal drugs, or alcohol abuse, or physical abuse, psychological abuse, making you think that this is all your fault, or you're a bad mom, or you're a bad wife, or you're a bad husband, or you're not giving it your all when you know you are. God hates divorce. But why? According to everybody I've asked and the scriptures that I've found, it's because it hurts people. But does abuse hurt people? How do you think God feels about that?
The 21st. These are all months before her passing, okay? We have another. Occurred February 12th, 2019 Honda Accord was taken by her ex-husband, meeting with the caller at Dick's Sporting Goods now. So about a month or two before her passing, JP had taken her car. A month, JP was upset, tried to file criminal action against Mica and her parents for Mica's post on Facebook. These are all very close, okay? Okay, here's another investigation report. On 3/13, a report was received over the telephone regarding an alleged false pretense swindle that took place at Solid Rock Ministries, 803 Howard Avenue, which is in the city limits of Myrtle Beach. Relates that one of the employees of the church, a Fender, was sent to collect donations for the church 501c3 called Dare to Care Mission. These funds were being collected specifically for a mission occurring in Jebrock, Kenya. The CP complains that on 2/14/24, it was discovered that the employee had transferred donation funds from the church's Zelle and Cash App accounts to the employee's personal South State bank account. The employee also collected cash donations, which were allegedly deposited directly into the employee's bank account. In total, the CP reports that $1,199 was deposited by the employee into her personal account. An investigation will follow. I have a very strong feeling that they're talking about Mica, and if I'm wrong, I apologize. But I did hear rumors about John Paul and Mica both being involved in some type of funneling of funds or something like that. I don't know. This is an allegation. So this is another incident report regarding the monies of the church. Woo! And we have another incident report about a month before Mica's passing. On February 21, 2024, I met with the CP in the city limits of Myrtle Beach in reference to the report of a stolen vehicle. Mica stated that she has been separated from her husband, the involved other, IO, since January of 2023. Mica stated that she was involuntarily hospitalized on 2/8/2024 and left her silver 2019 Honda Accord parked in the parking lot of the Walmart neighborhood market located at 3650 Walton Drive. When Mica was discharged from the hospital staff informed her that her husband picked up her purse and car keys while she was hospitalized. The CP stated that when she was released from the hospital on 2/10/2024, she returned to the Walmart neighborhood market on Walton Drive and discovered her vehicle was gone. The CP believed that her husband fraudulently initiated her involuntary hospitalization and stole her car while she was in the hospital. The CP stated that she has known her husband since she was 10 years old and that he groomed her while she worked for him at Solid Rock Church until they were married 6 years ago. I contacted the husband, who stated that he and his wife were not legally separated and that she suffers from mental health disorders. The CP experiences episodes on an annual basis near Christmas when she becomes reckless and spends large amounts of money when she stops taking her prescribed medication. JP stated that he was in possession of the silver Honda Accord in order to prevent his wife from selling it during the episode. He pointed out the fact that the vehicle is marital property and that he was unwilling to give it back to his wife for a month, which he stated was usually the time frame of these reckless episodes. Due to both parties stating that they were legally married, I made the determination that the Honda Accord was considered marital property. Therefore, I cannot establish a criminal offense. I have nothing further at this time. So again, the police were called. We hear that Mica's saying that JP stole her car, put her in the hospital, stole her car, and keys. And when we confront JP, he says, hey, that's my car, that's my wife, that's my property, and she has episodes, and I'm going to give it back to her in a month when I feel like it, when I feel like this thing is all blown over. Something is missing, right? Now, while I don't believe that a hospital would take her in if there wasn't cause to take her in, right? I still believe that her and John Paul Miller were at odds. And that's why he took the vehicle, because they were at odds. Not for her best interest. That's my opinion. Because why are you taking her car when she leaves out of the hospital? What is she going to do? How is she going to get home? Do you want her to call her family? You didn't inform her that you took her car. Nothing like this. You just came one day and took her stuff. With no regard or no report or no, hey, Mica, I'm taking the car. Nothing. Suspicious. Incredibly suspicious. Okay. So we go to another incident report. And on 6/23/22, the responding officer received a phone report from the victim stating that she received lewd text messages and photographs from the offender while she was at her home in New Jersey. The victim states she also received a video call from the offender while he was performing an obscene act on 6/8/22. Receiving officer spoke with the offender, who stated he was in the city jurisdiction during the time of their video call. Okay, this one's drawing a blank for me. Can somebody help me fill in the blank with this one? I'm thinking this is Mica's report. This is another incident report. This is the final incident report I have, okay? And this came from Reddit. You guys can see it yourself. I'll drop the link down in the comments below. But it says here in the notes that caller says an employee took money out of the missions account and also stole $1,200 from the church. Suspect is not on scene. The person who called is on scene to meet. Responding officer spoke with caller and determined that the incident happened in county jurisdiction. Caller was advised to contact HCPD and asked to request to speak with an officer. Responding officer did provide the caller with the event number. This is the last report, but this one is about a breach of trust property. And the conclusions that I can draw here, there was some type of financial issue going on in that church. And John Paul and or Mica may have allegedly, in my opinion, known about that financial issue. Why would they need this extra money? I have no earthly idea. But this is very suspicious how the church is coming up for all of these breaches of property, right? The other things that I find extremely insightful are that a month before Mica's passing, she met with the police to complain about JP. A month before, JP called the police to complain about Mica. 14 days before she passed, 2 weeks. She calls and says that she located a tracker on her vehicle. They told her, don't worry about it. A couple of months before she says that her husband stole her car, they told her, don't worry about it. Right? It seems like the police sided with John Paul in this, allowing him to take her transportation with no rhyme or reason, allowing him to track her vehicle with no rhyme or reason. But where was that justice for Mica? Why didn't she feel safe? And why did John Paul Miller need to get things out of Mica's apartment the day after? He needed a police escort to go over there because the landlord didn't like him too much. A day after? A day after? It just sounds all very suspicious to me. If you guys can help me fill in the dots, I'd really appreciate that. If there's any more information that you want me to cover, CCTV footage from this case, I'd love to do it. This is just me really ripping into the surface of this case. I will analyze documents, I'll watch videos, I'll see what I can pick out, but I do feel like police could have done more for Mica. I feel like everything isn't being told. That's my personal opinion. I decided to talk about this because a few of my subscribers wanted me to talk about it, and also the fact that John Paul Miller just got arrested for assaulting one of the women who was protesting for her justice. John Paul Miller's house just got raided. There's something bigger going on here. And I think it has something to do with money, power, and or drugs. If you like videos like this and want to see more, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Have a great rest of your day, guys.